Hello, today we're going to be exploring a new skill that we're learning in 4th grade called factors and multiples, building on, of course, what we learned about multiplication in 3rd grade, and also exploring how when we figure out the factors of a number, we can also determine if that number is called a prime number or a composite number. In 4th grade, our focus is really to be able to identify the factors of a number using rectangles. And I'm going to show you kind of what that looks like. The first thing that we need to know is that factors are the two numbers that are multiplied together. Here and here, this would be factor 1, and this would be factor 2, to make a product. And then that product, we can also say, is the multiple of its factors. There's a lot of vocabulary that we need to have practice with in this unit. So the way that we started doing this in class is using square tiles like this. And boys and girls were given those tiles and asked to find, they could make an array, a rectangle or square, that using a certain number of tiles, and then counting up the number of rows and columns on each side. When you do that, you can multiply those two numbers together to make the quantity that's in the array. So, for example, if they were looking for 12, they might say, well, if I were going to have 12 tiles, and I'm just going to kind of draw it quick instead of placing them one by one, if I did 3 columns, I know that 3 times 4 is 12, so I would need 4 rows. Now, if you're not certain of your multiplication facts, this becomes a little more challenging, and also more important to have the tiles in front of you or grid paper to be able to draw it out. For students who are pretty fluent with their multiplication facts, they already know some of the ways to make 12 with multiplication. So here I have 4 rows. How many are in each row? 3. So I can say that this is 3. Hi. Yeah, I'm making a video. Come on in though. 3 times 4 equals 12. So 3 and 4 are our factors. 12 is our product, but we can also say 12 is a multiple of 3 and 12 is a multiple of 4. Then what we did is we found all the ways to make 12. So boys and girls discovered that they could make one long row that had 12 tiles in it. I'm not going to draw all 12 right now, but this represented 1 times 12 equals 12. And then they also figured out that they could make maybe 6 rows of 2. There's our 2. I can draw 6 real quick. So a 6 by 2 rectangle represented 6 times 2 equals 12. And what they found was these were all the ways that they could make 12 for. They had the pair of 3 and 4, they had the pair of 1 and 12, and then they had the pair of 2 and 6. Right? But then they found some numbers that they only found one pair for. So I'm going to kind of draw that down here. The number 7. Well, when they were experimenting with those tiles, they realized that they could only do one row with 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1 times 7 is the only way to make 7 with a multiplication equation. So then we kind of sorted our numbers, and we discovered that there are a bunch of ways that only had one factor pair, like 7. And then we gave those numbers a name. We're calling them prime numbers. Prime numbers are the numbers that have only 2 factors, 1 in itself. It's the only way we can make those numbers with multiplication. Composite numbers are numbers like 12. This has 3 ways to make it. So if it has more than 1 factor pair, it becomes a composite number. So this video should help you tonight on your homework and on prime and composite numbers and knowing the difference between factors and multiples. Happy homework!